This is absolutely bonkers. I mean, coming from an Overwatch perspective, the rate at which the game director, Guangyun Chen, has told Metro, of all people, they're going to add heroes to this game is crazy. Every month and a half, there will be a new hero in Marvel Rivals, so that's basically every 6 weeks, a new hero to delight the players. That is insane. Like, my brain can't even, like, I can't comprehend that level of content. Now, this comes with it a number of issues, right? Can they keep the quality of the heroes high? They've got a lot of source material with the Marvel Universe, so obviously they've got a lot of stuff to pull from. But will they be able to keep hero abilities unique and kits unique? Will heroes start, I don't know, turning into like League of Legends where there's too many heroes and a lot of them are very similar? Are we going to see that kind of thing happening really fast with Marvel Rivals? Again, this is all going to come down to the developers and if they can actually make it feel fresh. But like I said, guys, like from me, coming from like an Overwatch perspective of you've got 3 new heroes a year. You have Overwatch seasons kind of range in length, but they're around 9 weeks long. Every other season, you generally get a hero. So you're looking at 3 heroes a year for Overwatch. And, I mean, Marvel Rivals is adding 4 in its first season. Now, remember, its first season is 3 months long. But the way they're operating is these 1.5-month periods. So the start of the season, then mid-season is when you get another update. And then the end of the season, obviously, is the start of the next season. So you get another update. And it looks like what they're doing after Season 1, which is special because it's got 4 heroes, every other season then will contain 2 heroes every month and a half. That is completely bonkers, right? So we're going to break down this interview because there's a lot in this interview, actually. Like I said, it's a bit weird. It's with Metro. I don't know what happened where they decided to do an interview with Metro because the website has got that many adverts on it. It's insane. But what I'm going to do is just cut out the, I guess, the notable points and slap them onto the screen so you guys can see them. So let's get stuck into this because this is actually bonkers. So first up, they ask him about the launch. They say, for you guys, how has the launch been? How pleased are you with the community's response? And Guang Yan responds with, our whole team has felt the passion of the community in everyone. We would use all of that to fuel us and continue to develop great stuff for everyone. So, I mean, that's just fair enough, right? It's a great launch. We all know it's been a great launch. Devs are happy. So what about role lock? Well, they say this. You've been pretty clear about not wanting to enforce role lock. Prior to release, that said, the community conversation around the topic right now is really loud. If that conversation becomes loud enough, would you be willing to change your stance? And he responds with this. So, yeah, we totally get that the community is discussing role lock and role queue. At its core, it's really about game balance. So, what we want to offer is more lineup or more team comp possibilities through our hero design and our team up mechanic. So, we'll be taking a little bit more time, more of a Marvel-inspired approach, I should say. It's all about giving the players the freedom to experiment and find their unique strategies, as we've seen in many games and streams. Post-launch, people have been exploring an indefinite amount of team compositions, and we're excited about what's coming. We believe no role queue will lead to a richer gaming experience for everyone. Now, I think, like, yeah, their stance right now is they're not adding role queue, they're not adding role lock. They want you to go out there and find team comps yourself. Their solution to this is, hey, we're going to rotate team up mechanics. Hey, we're going to bring new heroes to the game. So there should always be enough variety where you can keep changing your team comps around. And I'll be honest as well, guys, there's only really, like, what I would say in terms of absolutely you're going to lose the game if you don't have them on your team is if you do not have a support or a strategist, you will lose the game. If you've got one, you're probably going to lose the game, right? So you probably want to. And then apart from that, you can have 1 tank, you can have 2 tanks, you can have 3 tanks, right? And you probably do want a tank, right? So, I don't know, maybe I'm sort of arguing against myself here saying, oh, you want a tank and 2 supports at least. But there are times when you can win with off-the-wall team comps, and the fact that it's a possibility does kind of throw a spanner into the works, and I think that's actually kind of cool. I mean, I made an entire video around the launch of this game saying I don't think they should have role lock anyway. We can look at what Overwatch has done with role lock and its various weird implementations in that game, but we can also look at Rivals and say, well, when it gets to competitive, you've got things like hero bans, which can supplement overpowered heroes. Well, almost supplement the need for balance because the community will just balance itself. So, yeah, we're seeing that, which I think is having a pretty positive effect on the game. So, yeah, role queue, it's not coming. Well, it just isn't coming. It's not in the developers' sites, I guess. So then they ask him, has he experienced anything exciting with gameplay or things that he didn't expect? And he says this, there's actually been a lot of cool stuff happening from social media. We've seen, for example, Jeff is blowing up on socials. We've also seen players share epic clips of Spider-Man using his web swing to block Iron Man's ult. It's totally wild. Not to mention, you know, there's a team up between Hulk and Wolverine, so they use that insane fastball special team up to take Iron Man down right from the sky. Yeah, it's really amazing seeing all these clips from socials, and it really shows us that the players and the community love our game. And it's really, we're just really grateful for everything. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, this game has been very viral on social media, especially on short video platforms. So if you look at things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, I guess even like Twitter video and the YouTube Shorts. I should probably have said that first. I'm sure the YouTube police will probably come and arrest me for not saying that first. But yeah, you see, like, we've all seen them, right? We've seen Hulk throwing Wolverine. In fact, I've seen Hulk throwing Wolverine off the map and killing him because it's funny. But yeah, we've all seen the Jeff memes. We've seen all of it. It's pretty good. But it is a good sign for like the longevity of your game, because the devs will sit there and think, you know what, we're actually creating, as cheesy as this sounds, a bit of a cultural moment, because everyone's playing the game, everyone's talking about the game, and you get all these funny, really cool videos popping up, and it is really cool to see. I'm probably not in a unique scenario when I say this, but most of my TikTok feed is literally Marvel Rivals. Also, it's generally mountain bike videos, because I like mountain biking, and then football, basically, but it's mainly Marvel Rivals. I've got to be honest. So they ask him how important game balance is. So how important is the game balance to you? With patch notes, how quickly do you want to put them out? Do you want to mess with metas and strong heroes that become outliers quickly, or give them time? And this is what he says. After the launch, we've been keeping a close eye on the game's environment and balance. Moving forward, we'll be looking at hero pick rates and win rates in different scenarios. Once we've had some more detailed analysis and thoughtful consideration, will definitely make necessary balance changes and adjustments. It's all about creating a good experience for our players. It hasn't been that long since our launch, so we're going to continue to monitor everything and make sure everything feels right. So yeah, I mean, they have made balance changes already, and some of them overall, I think the patch has been okay, but I mean, there is a very strong argument for we kind of didn't really need to do any heavy-handed balancing at the moment because the game is so early. But you know, they are going to balance the game. If heroes are super OP, they are going to look at them, and if heroes are weak, they're going to look at them. And again, they notice the hero. They mention the hero win rates, which sometimes the devs, especially like the Overwatch perspective, they can sort of lean on that a little bit too heavy. If you're looking at win rates and you're not looking at the sort of I guess the environment the heroes are being played in, it can be an issue, because you can look at heroes and go, well, they need a buff. Like, I mean, an example would be Widowmaker. You could look at Widow and go, well, not got very good win rates in the lower ranks, but at the high tier is really good because the players can all aim. So let's buff Widowmaker because it'll make her stronger for the lower ranks, but then just makes her crazy OP for the higher ranks. So we've seen a lot of that kind of balancing going on with Overwatch, and I hope it doesn't come to Marvel Rivals. He then gets asked about the balance philosophy. Do you think making changes to heroes who are strong with the best players is best? Base it on what is strong in tournaments, or do you want to preserve the casual player experience? And this is what he says. The team generally wants every kind of player to enjoy the game in their own way. So instead of just zeroing in on either tournament results or quick play, we're going to take a broader look at the overall balance data on all the heroes in all the modes. Additionally, we also introduced a ban pick system in higher tier rank matches and in tournaments, so this adds another layer of strategy for competitive players, giving them more choices in how they want to approach every single game. And yeah, like, look, the ban system is great for high level players, but not a lot of the community actually are exposed to that. I mean, there is an argument for over time reducing the hero bans in competitive, maybe take them down to like gold, even maybe silver or something, I don't know, just so players get used to playing with them. But again, I don't want them to be fixating on hero win rates, and because that's kind of, it can be a bit of a fallacy. But what I will say about this game is they do have the hot hero list literally on the website, which shows you the strongest heroes from the previous season. But also, there are additional websites you can go to, and that do have a lot of statistics from the current season, where they're pulling. I'm not entirely sure where they're pulling the data from, because I don't think there's an API you can plug into. I guess they're just actually loading the game up themselves and sort of downloading everyone's in the top 500 data maybe or something and compiling it. I'm not sure, because they also have casual data as well. But anyway, yeah, there's places you can go and look and see where the strongest heroes. Like one, like very simple one I can kind of give you guys is Jeff is the most picked hero, but he's also got one of the worst win rates in competitive. So it tells you that Jeff, casual players really like him, comp players well, he's not that great for comp. See what I mean? So, yeah. He was then asked, how does seasonal bonuses work? Are they meant to be on all the time? And I assume they will change next season. And this is what he says. So let us break down the team up mechanic first. First off, each team up involves 2 to 3 heroes, with one acting as the core team up, which is the one who received the seasonal bonuses. So, when there's one core hero on the field, any other hero from that specific team up would activate the whole team up mechanics. And you really only need 2 heroes to trigger one team up, which specifically means that a team can easily activate 3 sets of team ups in one game, and that further adds a whole layer of new strategy and depth to team compositions. So on the one hand, we want to encourage players to use these core heroes by giving them additional season stat bonuses, which helps to then activate more team up potentially in one game. So we believe by doing all this, we would have more freedom, but we let players choose the heroes that they want to play. Looking ahead, as we move on to seasonal updates, we'll be introducing new heroes and we will be refreshing the team-ups every season. That includes adding new team-ups, as well as breaking down and reshaping the existing ones to keep the experience dynamic and engaging for everyone. So I think what the interviewer was asking here is the seasonal bonus just active all the time for the player with the seasonal bonus or the hero with it? And the answer to that is yeah. But yeah, we know these are going to change over time. There hasn't really been, well, there isn't any new ones really, apart from the Fantastic Four one in the current season, I believe. They did make some changes to Hawkeye's bonus and also to Hela's bonus damage, that has been reduced. So they did kind of fine tweak it, but basically, yeah, in Season 1, we've essentially got what we had in Season 0, with the addition of the Fantastic Four. But next season, it should change. There should be completely new team-up bonuses and core heroes, so that should be a pretty interesting thing to look out for. It then gets asked about the types of heroes and why there's so many duelists in the game. So why did the game launch with such a disproportionate amount of duelists? Do you prefer to take a hero you want to make and decide the role after, or is the wider roster composition important? Do you plan to try and make the roles even more, or do you think it not matters? Okay, some of the English is a bit weird in this, especially off the interview. That's why I'm struggling to read it, or maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know, but we get the gist of the question. And then he says, our choice of heroes will be guided by the overall gameplay experience or theme that we want to create for each season. So it will revolve around the season, and right now at post-launch we have 8 Vanguards and 7 strategists at launch. The team believes that it gives the players a solid variety for tactical matchups or team composition. Having more duelists at the moment will definitely enhance the duelist experience, letting players dive a little bit deeper into that aspect. So lastly, big shout out to our community, as we've seen a lot of feedback as we look ahead to future seasons. Starting with Season 1, we would definitely keep this in mind when introducing new heroes, and we would want to make sure that everyone feels heard and excited. It's basically a nothing burger answer there, but there is too many duelists in the game. We do need more Vanguards and more strategists, like, desperately, especially Vanguards. I mean, it's because I'm trash, but I'm finding like I've only really got Strange and Magneto, and then I'm like, well, what do I do? Maybe I should learn the other Vanguards, but hey. Right then, so this is what I opened the video with, and typical 15 minutes into the video we get round to it, but this is the idea of how often will you be adding heroes to the game, and this is what the question was and the answer. This might be a little cheeky of me, but have you spoken about the cadence players can expect new heroes to join the game? Are you aiming for a couple a year or as many as possible? And this is what he says: every season we'll be rolling out fresh seasonal stories, new maps and new heroes. We'll actually be breaking down each season into 2 halves. The length of one season is 3 months, and for each half of the season we will introduce a new hero. We just eventually want to continue to enhance the experience and, you know, keep everyone excited in our community. So yeah, like, we know this. I opened the video with it. Every 6 weeks effectively there's going to be a hero in the game, every month and a half. That's wild, that's bonkers, that's loads of content. We know we've got a load more in this season because it's the special Season 1. We've got 4 heroes for the Fantastic Four. But I think the issue will be with this. Imagine if like the next 3 heroes are just straight up duelists. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, it's another duelist. Yeah. So I don't know. I think they need to get the balance right between the class of hero. But I think this cadence of heroes is bonkers. And I suppose the other side to this coin is, can they actually keep up with this? You know, like, it doesn't take much to derail this kind of plan. Imagine if you can't actually fulfill it. Maybe you don't have the resources to do this long term, or you release a couple of heroes on the bounce that are not very well received. It could be quite detrimental to the game. I think I would probably argue that actually if you released a bad hero, you would know that, okay, in 6 weeks there's another one coming, so it doesn't really matter. You know, we could kind of hopefully fix it with that. We just don't want to release another bad hero and then another bad hero and a bad hero. I think as well, like when I try to think about like Overwatch versus Marvel Rivals, but then I go a little bit deeper and I think, well, what about Blizzard versus NetEase? And then I start thinking like, does NetEase have more resources? I mean, financially on its own, yeah, it was a much bigger company than Blizzard, but Blizzard is part of Microsoft. But the way Blizzard is kind of compartmentalized away in Blizzard sort of means that it is, I don't think it's got that much resources. So I don't know. There's probably a question taking place within the Blizzard teams of like, actually, can we increase our support of this game? Because we've got Marvel Rivals and they've got a lot of support. So I don't know. Maybe we see more heroes come to Overwatch. But again, that opens like a whole can of worms, because making heroes in Overwatch is not as simple as it is for Rivals. Now, the Rivals heroes we've got so far are very well designed. But what I mean is there is a massive established universe of Marvel heroes. I mean, there's thousands of them that you could pick from. So you can just pick heroes. You've got the concept art and everything ready to go, and then you just sort of translate them into the game. It is easier than Overwatch having to go, well, we need to invent something from scratch, which takes time, right? Because you've got to do a load of concept art, then you've got to work things out, you know, and go from there. So I do think it is easier technically for Rivals to add heroes, but I mean, is that really an excuse to say, well, can't Overwatch increase theirs? But then the other thing is, does Overwatch need more heroes? Hey, I'm on record saying if Overwatch came out and went, oh, there's 4 new heroes this season, I don't think that would really impact the game anyway. You wouldn't have the same effect. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But I still think it's bonkers that they're committing to a hero every month and a half in Rivals. That is crazy. He then gets asked, what is your philosophy on Vanguards? For you, what is the job of the tank, and what makes a good Vanguard? How do you find new characters to make around that idea? And this is what he says, a pretty big response this is. So right now, our gameplay primarily focuses on single objective modes. As a Vanguard, your primary role is to stand at the forefront of that objective, be that a capture point or payload, and creating space for duelists and strategists in your team to set up their formations. That really sets the base stage for our two-sided combat model, where 2 teams are going head-to-head against each other. So from there, we also believe that Vanguards will have the strongest survivability in the game. There are many ways to express that. For example, we have Doctor Strange's magical shield, we have Groot's wood walls, we have Hulk and Venom's high mobility. This all leads to a diverse range of gameplay styles for our Vanguards, which is fundamentally a core part of our design philosophy. Since we are also a Marvel superhero game, we don't want Vanguards to just soak up damage. We also want them to contribute more to the team. So that's why we designed some really cool mechanics to go along with them. For example, we have the famous Doctor Strange portals. We have Penny Parker's web traps and web zones. We also have Magneto's ultimate that actually absorbs enemy projectiles and turns them into a powerful counterattack. You know, all these mechanics enable Vanguards to create some epic moments where you truly enjoy that unparalleled superhero experience. This is a crucial part of how we approach designing our Vanguards. And lastly, we are designing new Vanguards. We also tie in, when we're designing new Vanguards, we also tie in the core concept of that character's IP and the Marvel Universe, ensuring that we take all of these elements into account when designing them. So, yeah, I mean, fine. I don't really have much to add to that, to be fair. Are you happy with map variety currently in the game? And he says, yeah, we're actually very happy about all the diversity in our maps we have right now in the game, and also all the destructibility. In the future, we will also be planning to introduce even more map diversities, so stay tuned for that. I mean, okay, the game needs more maps. This isn't like a secret. I mean, I don't think the maps are particularly great. I think they're okay. The destructibility is fine, but it gets a little bit like, yeah, it's lost its charm. Actually, the Midtown map has got the reverse, hasn't it, where you can like build the map effectively, which is pretty cool. I think Midtown map's like okay as well, but yeah, the maps are fine. They're okay. They're not the best part of the game. I think they could really level up their map design. And we need more maps. We desperately need more maps. And then weirdly, he gets asked about Jeff's ultimate. It's just Jeff the Landshark's ultimate is very large and hard to avoid. Can we expect any tweaks? What? I mean, this has already been nerfed, actually, but whatever. So we actually have an interesting tip for how to avoid Jeff's ultimate. Make sure you keep your formation spread out, and as soon as you hear Jeff saying nom 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 before he unleashes the ultimate, you want to scatter away and don't hesitate to use your mobility skill. And if you have a teammate or two who unfortunately gets swallowed by Jeff, And you've also done a good job spreading out your whole team beforehand. It means that only a few teammates will get caught, but whatever. I mean, Jeff's ultimate has been nerfed anyway. The vertical grab on it has been really nerfed, which is good. It used to be a massive spherical dome. Now it's not. It's just like a rectangle, basically, on the ground. So I think anything 5 meters above gets captured. Don't quote me on this, because I might be getting these figures wrong, but before it was much higher than that. So yeah, if you're flying in the air, is any flying characters above him, he shouldn't grab you unless you're like right on top of him, in which case he will. He then gets asked about esports. This is kind of cool, but it's a very quick answer. Marvel Rivals is excelling because of the fun, casual experience, but you have already started tournaments and have some esports aspirations. How will you make the game competitive in those areas while trying to retain the fun chaos that the game is enjoying right now? And he says this: we've actually been thinking about this on a broader scale. Looking at the picture as a whole, we really hope that when we do the competitive modes or tournaments, they will coexist with our quick play. That's because we've been seeing a lot of other successful titles being able to pull off a competitive environment and a quick play environment both healthily at the same time. We'll be taking a lot of references from them to ultimately let both player pools thrive. All right, so that's the answer. So basically, yeah, we looked at everyone else. We're looking at what they're doing, and we kind of want to copy what they're doing, which is fine. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much information there. I mean, the game is building an esports scene. All I would say on the subject of esports is please, please, please let the esports scene organically grow. Sure, support it with prize pool money and stuff like that, but don't be an overbearing publisher. We've got too many of them in esports. Just let the scene grow. Foster the scene, let it be its own thing, because it is valuable to have. And also, just viewing it as outright marketing for the game can be a bit of a detrimental stance to take, because it is core to the game. It's part of the game. It's where we can see the best players and the best team comps play, and we want to see them. I've really enjoyed watching the tournaments we've had so far. So yeah, long may that continue. Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed that, guys. I really love it when game directors come out and start talking about their game and giving you bits of behind the scenes information. It's great because it gets you like to know them. Like, you think, okay, this is what they're thinking about the game right now. And I don't think anything in that interview was particularly bad. I don't think anything was. I don't think there was like, oh my god, what's this guy saying? He's completely deranged. I think they're deranged with the amount of content they're adding. I still can't get over that. That is insane how much stuff they're going to add to the game. But yeah, let me know what you think about all of this, guys, in the comments below. This is bonkers. It's actually bonkers. And yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video. You can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you soon.